Hello and welcome to the Alternative Art School. I am so pleased you are here. This is an absolutely gorgeous morning here in southwest England in Dorset where I live, which has been lovely. Anyway, I hope you are well. In today's class, we're going to be continuing our look at this kind of eye for beauty and seeing things in the ordinary and finding the beauty within. Welcome if you are new. My name is Cate Field. I'm an artist, a teacher, a writer, and absolutely passionate about helping people to develop their creative spirit and to develop it. No, did I just say that? I just got distracted by this absolutely beautiful flight of birds that just went down to the sea. Anyway, my apologies. Yes, so we're going to be doing some drawing. Don't get alarmed. I know a lot of people get a little bit kind of anxious at the D word, as I call it, but I'm going to show you some really interesting and easy ways to get your ideas down on paper and then do something with them. Something really exciting. Let's go. Many people get very scared when I mention the drawing word, and I've lost count now of how many of my students, whether they're children or whether they're adults, who tell me they're no good at art because they can't draw. And I really get it. But drawing is something that we can practice. But there are some little tricks that we can do as well. And I'm going to show you a couple of these, and we're going to use these simple shapes to make a kind of an abstract design. And this is going to help you improve your drawing skills to give you a little bit more confidence. So I've just got some ordinary things. Now, this is the hammer that I used the other, was it last week? Yes. So you might want to check out that one as well. I've been looking at just how we can use ordinary things that are lying around and create something lovely. I'm going to be using my polychromos pencils. I've got rusty pliers and some scissors. I'm going to be working on some cartridge paper, and again I can't remember what it's called in the United States. It's drawing paper, I think it's just called. So this is about 140 grams, so it wouldn't be that good for painting onto, but it's great for drawing. It's got quite a smooth finish. And what we're going to do is I'm going to fill this page with ideas, because this is going to go into a sketchbook later. My sketchbook at the moment is just drying because I've been doing a bit of watercolour painting. And what we're going to do, just drawn a very rough square. You could use a ruler if you want to. And what we're going to do is use the shapes of the objects that we have, and we're just going to draw around them. So it's just going to hold it down a bit. Doesn't matter if it moves about like that one just did. So we're just using the outline of the shape. So we're actually kind of like using the shape itself as a template. And I love doing this. I do this exercise with my little ones as well. And it just works really well. So again, we've got that first shape. And again, it doesn't matter if there's messy bits, because that is not the point. Let's just take let's take another bit there. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just taking the shape and just doing something with it. And again, this is just an idea, and I'm just going to use these scissors as my starting point, really, and I might turn them into something else. Did a whole series with my little ones when we turned these sort of scissor shapes into characters. Perhaps I'll do that for a doodle club another time, because I think that would be great. It was great fun. It was really great fun. Let's just pop that. So some of these are underneath, some of these are overlapping. You can see that it's just it's just so easy. We just And you can add and bits and take things away. Don't think that you have to, oh my gosh, that's not actually part of the scissors. It doesn't matter. This is just a starting point for an idea. So I'm using my grey. I'm going to be using tones of grey and slightly kind of a green tinge, and you'll see how that works as we go. And I'm going to start off in the negative spaces. Did a whole thing on negative space in a previous tutorial. And just to remind you, negative space is the thing that isn't the object. It's kind of like what's going on in the background, really. But when we focus on the negative space, we see things in a slightly different way. I remember doing a tutorial with my A-level students. This is when I was at Guildford College in Surrey, and we did a whole thing on negative space. We did huge charcoal drawings, and we were looking at still life, and it was great. And we did this for a whole week, and so I think they had sort of 3 lessons where all we did was look at negative space, and the responses that they did were absolutely amazing. But what was really funny was I had so many students come and talk to me afterwards and later and said, do you know, I can't stop looking at the negative spaces. So all around them they were looking in a different way, and for me as an art teacher that was absolutely brilliant, because this is all about how we observe the world, and artists see the world differently. And like I said last week, I think, I see you all as my students. So however old you are, however experienced or inexperienced you are my students, and welcome. So, but it does mean that I will challenge you. Because that's how we grow, isn't it? So you can see I'm just sort of putting in this. I'm just doing this quite roughly. I'm not kind of putting any details or anything like that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I've had this cough. It's driving me crazy. Right. I do hope you are all well. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments. Those of you who have been watching me for ages and who regularly comment and contribute to this community, I really do appreciate you. And if you are thinking that, yeah, this is the sort of community I would like to join, then you might want to think about subscribing. And I would very much appreciate it if you like this video, because that kind of helps other people find me. That's apparently how the algorithm works. So that would be lovely. And don't be shy. Write me a comment. Lots of people tell me about the weather. I love that. Do love I love a weather update. I'm going to leave that space because I don't want that to just be shaded in. But can you see what happens? We just putting in the negative space like this. I mean, it's, you know, it's quite interesting, but it's not hugely interesting. So what else can we do? I'm just going to put that one in there just so it can remind me what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now is to break up this space. I'm just going to use another grey. Actually, I'm just going to sharpen that pencil. Always make sure that your pencils are sharp. It's really important. So I've got my indigo, and I'm just going to put in another bit here. Just felt that there was something missing in this corner, so I'm just going to just do that. Just see, just get a little bit of a shape here, like that. I'm just putting that one in like that. Okay, I'm going to be using this pencil, and I'm just going to do a line all the way through. Now, when people start to do this, they think, oh my gosh, that is really, really scary. And yeah, it is. But can we just remember what we're talking about here? We're talking about pencil. And what's there to be scared about, you know, is a pencil. It's not going to bite you. And because this is going in our sketchbooks, it doesn't matter if things don't quite go how we want them to. Now I'm just going to sort of do a little bit more shading again in this sort of negative space part. And I'm just looking in this little area here. Just now, I use my pencil in lots of different ways. I think pencils are very versatile. So I'm using like the flat end to get that bit of tone there, and then use the pointy bit to get into those edges. Just sort of build, I just want to build that up. I really love using neutral colours. I use lots of bright colours as well in my work, but I think that sometimes it's really nice to use these neutral colours in an interesting way, because then we can focus on the shape and the pattern rather than on the colour. And I think that can be really interesting. So I'm using this sort of indigo blue, and now I'm going to use this sort of green black. Not quite sure what the correct colour is, and I can't see it because the light's gone a bit weird. Anyway, no, never mind. It doesn't matter what it's called. It's a dark green. You can use whatever colours you want. And when I do this with my little students, my very young ones, I get them to use very bright colours with black and white, and that can be great fun. So again, I'm just sort of putting in a bit more colour into some of this negative space. Now this one, we go back to blue, this indigo, and I'm actually going to draw and shade in the shape, so not the negative space, the positive space. And then what we're doing is just sort of building up. I've got some strange light coming, well, it's not strange, it's the sunshine coming in through the window. So I just move across a little bit. So I'm just going to build this up a little bit and you can see what happens to it a little bit later. We're going to go on to another design. So just moving across the page, I'm going to just draw another shape, rectangle. This time I'm going to use my pliers, and I'm going to do the same sort of thing. Just going to draw around the pliers, directly in with my colouring pencil. I don't encourage my students to use an eraser. I feel that the mark you make is the correct mark. It's quite an interesting philosophy, but I think it works quite well. So again, just sort of putting these lines in. I might overlap some of these. See what happens. It might be that it's just too messy. But it might actually work quite well. I'm just going to tidy up some of this. Because straight away you're going to get these interesting shapes that you might think, yeah, but it still looks a mess. And you're right, it does. Because we haven't worked on it yet, have we? I'm going to now add some circles. I'm just thinking what this needs. What does this need, Kate? This needs some circles. Let's see what we've got. Let's stick that in. Use what is around you. Don't be afraid of just sort of picking something up and thinking, what that would look like. That is the question of the artist. What if I did that? How would that work? And of course the answer might be, no, that's just a really stupid idea. That's not going to work at all. But The thing is, you don't know, do you? You don't know until you try. And this is why working in a sketchbook can be so exciting. So here we have a nice messy starting point. Now, I quite often will use watercolour paints or maybe acrylic, but I'm not in this one. I'm just going to focus on pencil. I want to keep it quite simple. And also I don't have a lot of time today, actually, because it's my mum's birthday later. And the time I'm recording this, it will we're having the party at the weekend. You are watching this after the party. So my mum will be 85, and she's just the most wonderful person ever. It's just such a lovely person. So we're having a big family event, which means I haven't got a lot of time this week. So that would just be wonderful. There we go. But this is the thing. I really do encourage you to do some art regularly. I know saying it every day, it's just not possible, is it? It's just not possible to do that. But we can find time in our busy lives, and sometimes just picking up a pencil and doing a bit of a doodle. That is what we need to do. So just these kind of shades of grey. You'll see how this comes together as we go. Because, yeah, sometimes it's a bit difficult to see. So, yes, I am very blessed to have both of my parents. And it's just a wonderful thing. So the children will be down. And my sister. So that would just be lovely. And my niece and nephews. Oh, it's just going to be great. It's going to be so good. There we go. I don't know about you, but if you've got grown-up children, when they all come back home, it's like they revert back to being about 14. It's hilarious. They all get together, they'll start playing games, they'll start having arguments, just, playfully. It's very funny. I love it. Absolutely love it. There we go. So I'm just kind of building this up with these different tones of grey. Sometimes I'm pressing quite hard because I just want you to see that these shapes can really start to form some very interesting patterns. And this is the thing with abstract art, is that we can take something that is very ordinary and it's very obvious what it is, and then turn it into something unusual. There we go. And these skills that you are learning here, you're learning how to use a pencil, which sounds very silly, but we have to learn how to use a pencil. You're not born knowing how to use a pencil. And this is why I say to all of my students, especially those who say that they can't draw, I said, well, how often do you practice? And that's the thing, isn't it? You have to practice. There's no getting away from it. There we go. And I've been drawing for a very, very long time, since I was a little girl. And that's how you get better at it. It doesn't always work. Sometimes things go horribly wrong, because that is the nature of things. I'm just going to do a little bit of blue in here. Again, it's still not Yeah, it's not great, but it's coming together. And I like this idea of breaking up the space and then thinking, you know, what else could I do? One of the other things that I think is quite fun to do is just kind of put patterns in the spaces. I'm not going to do that for this one. I might do that for another session. But this one I just wanted to keep with the tones. Now, can you see the different shades here, which I think look quite interesting? And what I'm going to do now is to go into the kind of the corners. I'm going to get the black. This is just the black polychromos. I'm going to go into the corners and then just sort of fade out, creating a bit of a tonal value, going from dark to light. I'm going to come over here, over to this side, and then in this corner here, I'm going to do that. There we go. So yes, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. So I don't know when you are watching this, but if you are watching this in the beginning of March, for the whole of February, I did the Heartscapes project. It was amazing. I did it with my real life classes, but I also did it here on YouTube and in my Facebook group. And oh my goodness, I encouraged everybody to take part. And it was very simply to use the idea of a heart shape and create a piece of art in whatever way you wanted to. And just pop that like that. And what I'm going to do is to collate, this is what I'm doing at the moment, is collating them all. And I'm going to create a book. And it's going to be just so exciting to have the work of people who've never submitted their work before. It's just going to be so lovely. And I will be creating a film, a video of it as well, which I'll upload and show you all. Which, yeah, it's very, very exciting. And again, it's sort of taking this idea of a shape and then doing your own thing with it. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group and that's something that you think you might like to do, it's a very, very friendly place, very supportive, just wonderful, wonderful community. Anyway, the link is in the description. You can click on that. Please answer the questions and agree to the group rules. I've had quite a few people wanting to join the group, but they haven't answered the questions, and I can't let you in because I have to make sure that you're a real person and not some kind of scam person or a bot, as they say. So please answer the questions. There we go. I know they're very silly questions, but please do that. There we go. And if you'd like to leave a comment, that would be good. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you think. Tell me what objects you think you might like to draw around and create a shape from. So bring those in here. The whole point of my tutorials, and I started this a year ago in March 2024. So depending on when you are watching this. So yes, I've been doing this for a year, and I've been overwhelmed by the wonderful, wonderful people online. Yeah, we hear such negativity, don't we? But oh my goodness. So I have people following me, following along with the tutorials from all over the world. Wow, it's just amazing. Really, really lovely. And people on my doorstep. So I was doing a class last week in Axminster, near to where I live. And lovely, lovely lady came in to the class and said, "No, I've been following you on YouTube." Oh, wow. How lovely. Oh, so nice. So yes, I am a real person. So you see, sort of building up this kind of shape. Can you see it's gone very much away from the actual objects now. I'm going to come back to this one now. I'm going to just swap between the two as I kind of build up with different ideas. So I've got this kind of where I've used the positive shape here, and I'm just going to pick up the same colour, this indigo, and put that in here. And one of the reasons I love these pencils is they blend beautifully. I've got a link in the description of all of the pencils that I use, well, all of the equipment that I use. I've also got a whole load of freebies if you'd like to have a look at those, that you can get from my website. I can do those like that. When we were doing these scissors into characters, that was very funny. I am thinking that I will do that with you. Well, let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see how how we can turn scissors into little characters, and then we make up stories. Because I also do a lot of writing. I love I write prose, poetry, little haikus. Love things like that. I love combining words with my art, which is why I love art journaling. And so some of the resources, they're completely free. You can just download them. Are prompts that you could use for either your own creative writing or your own artwork. I am putting together a course, and that's sort of combining ideas for artwork and storytelling. I'm putting that together now. I am going to be doing some YouTube tutorials on that, but I'm also going to have it as a standalone course. So watch this space, because that's really exciting. I'll be talking about that. I'll probably talk about it next week. There we go. So I hope you're kind of getting the idea of this now, that you can kind of start to build up quite an interesting pattern, quite an interesting design. And obviously, you could use felt tip pens, gel pens. You could do this in all sorts of paints and create some very interesting shapes and a very interesting composition. I'm just going to put in another line through here. And just sort of pick up some more of these shapes. I just wanted to kind of break this up a little bit. It's just too wishy-washy, I would say, at the moment. It just needs picking up a bit. I'm just going to do a little bit of outline, I think. Just sort of see what happens if I do that. And similar to the thing I did before, I'm just going to put a little dark bit in the corners, like that. And there's something very, very therapeutic about putting a pencil on a paper, I find anyway. And I know a lot of you do too as well, because you've told me. There. Let's do something with this one. You could go around with a fine liner pen, or biro, ballpoint pen. Again, really encouraging you to try things and have that what if moments. Just quite liking this darker outline for some of these actually. I think it kind of picks it up a little bit. Like that. So I'll do a little bit more of these and I'll show you what that looks like at the end. So I've done a little bit more on this. What I've wanted to do is kind of develop the idea of tone, and I think this could be really, really effective. It's also a really good way to practice creating tone. It's kind of going from dark to light, and when you're working in a kind of on a small piece like this, it can be really, really quite effective, and it's fun. So I'm going to leave that one. I will cut it out and pop it into my sketchbook. But what can we do with this one now? Because this is not looking great. It's not kind of doing much for me at the moment. So what can we do to make it a little bit more exciting? Well, same as I did with this one, I'm going to start developing the tone, and I'm going to start with this kind of white space here, going in with the green. They come down on this side. Now, when we're creating tone, it's quite good to be quite consistent, and obviously I'm using my right hand, so I'm going over from the left side, just getting sort of darker on that side and then coming through lighter on this one. If you are left-handed, it's easier if you do it the other way round. So again, it's not right or wrong, it's whatever works for you. And if I wanted to have the darker bit on this side, I can go that way, but it means that I'm going across my work, so I could turn the work round. And again, I encourage my students to do that frequently. It's always a good idea to turn your work upside down and round the other way, because you see things in a different way, and you can get other ideas. And it's great when you're working with abstracts because you might think that actually upside down is more interesting. So right, start off one way and then end up another. So I'm just coming around here. As I say, I'm not going to finish this off. I just wanted to show you how you can just make it just a little bit more interesting. So I've put that there, and then what's really going to help this is to come over this side into the negative space, and then do your sort of tonal gradients on that side, and be the same here, like that. Bring that round, and that one as well. Just kind of lifts it a little bit, makes it a little bit more interesting. And I'm not actually going to do any more on that. I am thinking that I might kind of go in with some fluorescent pink, obviously. But for this doodle club, I think that's it. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that, and that you have got ideas that you can take away and do your own thing with. And if you want to see some more, you can look at this one and this one. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.